Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Let's Play Skyrim. You'll recall that last time we left off in Saarthal, and we were just following Tolfdir through the shattered magical seal deeper into the ruins. Let's see what we find.
Hold, mage, and listen well. Know that you have set in motion a chain of events that cannot be stopped.
Apothecary's satchel, we'll loot that.
Judgment has not been passed, as you had no way of knowing. Judgment will be passed on your actions to come, and how you deal with the dangers ahead of you. This warning is passed to you because the Psijic Order believes in you. You, mage, and you alone, have the potential to prevent disaster. Take great care, and know that the Order is watching.
Interesting. Completed. Follow Tolfdir. Tell Tolfdir about the vision. While following Tolfdir through an unexplored section of Saarthal, a vision from the Psijic Order has suggested that something has been set in motion by the exploration of Saarthal. Tolfdir should be warned.
I swear I felt something rather strange just then. What just happened?
Some sort of ghost or apparition appeared. It spoke to me.
I'm afraid I didn't see anything. Can you tell me more about what you saw?
It said something about danger ahead and the Psijic Order.
The Psijic Order? Are you quite sure about that? That's very odd. And danger ahead? Why, that doesn't make any sense at all. The Psijics have no connection to these ruins, and no one's seen any of their order in a long time. Perhaps we should take a look inside these coffins. Now, please do be careful. Who knows what we're going to find?
Bit of an understatement. Completed. Tell Tolfdir about the vision. Follow Tolfdir. What's the Psijic Order?
They were a group of mages with a history that predates the Empire. Very powerful, very secretive. No one's seen them in well over 100 years. They vanished, along with their sanctuary on the Isle of Artaeum. I have no idea what connection they'd have to this place.
Why is the Psijic Order contacting me?
I have no idea, but it's fascinating. Assuming it's true, of course. The Isle of Artaeum disappeared over 100 years ago, and no one has seen them since. And yet now, suddenly, they've chosen to contact you. Why, it's intriguing. If nothing else, I'd take it as a compliment. The Psijics have only ever dealt with those they feel worthy. All right, then.
While in an unexplored area of Saarthal, I received a vision from someone in the Psijic Order saying there's something dangerous in Saarthal. Despite this, Tolfdir wishes to forge ahead and has asked that I follow him. Now, honestly, what do you think is going to happen when we check out coffins? Should be pretty obvious, I'd think.
I've got some fire in me.
38 two-handed. That's very good. We can heal up. Check my weapon charge. And I believe it's theoretically possible, at least, that I filled one of my greater soul gems a minute ago. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh yes, we're good. Alright, let's search those two. We got gold, and we got bone meal and gold. And now we can keep going. All quite straightforward, really.
Be prepared to defend yourself. Be prepared to defend yourself.
Now, check this out. Look up. I saw this on Reddit the other day. I never looked up in this room.
Is someone
Look
there?
at all those coffins. Two-handed to 39. Very nice.
That's your best. Go down so easily.
That one's worth selling. Now let me make sure I didn't inadvertently fill any soul gems I didn't want to. All petties full, all lessers full. Put one lesser inside a common. We don't want to do
Anything
that.
like this in Nordic ruins before. Why, just look at all these. This bears closer inspection. I've never seen anything like this in Nordic ruins before. Why, just
Look at all that.
This is simply fascinating. All right then. Be prepared to defend yourself.
Oh, I think his dialogue just broke, but follow completed, follow Tolfdir. Now it's find the danger within Saarthal. And the one other thing to do is, of course, check my charge. I can't believe I never looked up. It's awesome. We've gone from the Saarthal excavation to Saarthal. If you're wondering about that zone change. All's well, we can keep going. Tolfdir will catch up eventually, there's no need to worry about him. But the enemies do get stronger in here. I distinctly recall having to fight 2 or 3 Draugr Death Lords at once, which could be difficult at the moment. Interesting. Well, I know that all my lesser gems were filled, so... And I don't believe we're ready to charge yet. Let's trigger this fire rune. And heal up when we're done. Very good. Alright. Little hanging moss. Draugr Death Lord. ×2. there's a full-powered one up on the second floor. I could tell by the echo. Oh shit. Don't let him corner me. How fucking cheesy. Letting him box me in like that. Fucking really. Main thing is just to successfully get rid of one of them. When we're down to one, things will get much easier. Of course. I mean, that... practically a non sequitur, that's so obvious, but... got to try not to get cornered. At the same time, I'm glad they're hitting me for high damage. Oh, fuck me sideways. The third one found me. It's the last goddamn thing I need. Yep, and there's the full-powered one. It's one I gotta be most careful of. He's the one I'm gonna mark for death. Crud. Alright, we bagged one. .46 light armor. Well, that's good. And I believe we filled another Greater Soul Gem, which is also good. Now that one, I think, is going to fill a Grand Soul Gem, which is even cooler. And that just leaves this one. Now that he's alone, I can let him score a few free hits, no harm, no foul. Run away, heal up, run back in, the usual. While I get the fat loot off of his dead buddies. 42 two-handed. Whee! .47 light armor. And we killed him too. Lovely. Now for some housekeeping. Check on my gems first of all. Commons are all good. We did fill a grand and 2 graders, and everything else is fine. Let's see what we can do here. Still like to burn through all my smaller ones first. And we can continue. That was tough enough. I think it merits a hard save. Alright, now let's look around. Down here on the lower level again. Eyes peeled for moss and mushrooms and the like. And now up to the second level. Obvious way forward, so let's peel around here first. Check all the edges of this upper level. Wouldn't want to miss anything good here. Like this adept locked chest, for example. Okay. And if we bounce over here, got a shelf with nothing, burial urn with a little gold, and we're ready. This side, burial urn, this side, full grand soul gem, dwarven arrow, coin purse, burial urn, steel dagger, seems out of place, unlocked chest, a full petty soul gem, which I actually think I can go ahead and burn. Yep, good. And an unlocked door to continue forward. Certainly seen this pattern before. You got burial urns, otherwise unoccupied. So far, that will probably change. A few ingredients on this down slope. Plate trap here, looks like darts, and an unlocked chest. And now I hear Draugr. There they are. kill the white first. As a general matter, I'm definitely into lower numbers. But I do like to let Death Lords hit me, because they hit hard, and I am trying to raise light armor. So... .44 two-handed is good. That's worth selling. Heal up. Search the corpse. Additional housekeeping. Should have filled a common soul gem and a greater soul gem with those two. The white has a lesser soul. Interesting. Didn't think so, but okay. Ah yes, and weapon charge, before I forget. Alright. We're back to using commons when we're ready. So... looks like we're clear up to this point, so let's move forward. Good old pillar puzzle. This one's really straightforward. We got whale. This one needs to be eagle. Got two searchable Draugr here. Hide shield is not worth it. Eagle here. Searchable Draugr. Snake here. Whale here. And eagle here. And that should do it. Now Tolfdir will rejoin us in time for one hell of a last fight, which actually ties into a completely different side quest. We're not there yet, though. I thought we were, but I remember this route now that I'm in it. Let's creep around the ground floor first. Make sure we haven't missed anything on either side. And pick one of the staircases, doesn't really matter which. Go up and deal with that Draugr we can hear. It's a Death Lord. There's 48 light armor. Definitely love that. There's a potion of ultimate stamina I almost missed. So, glad you chased me back this far at least. Alright, let's take one more round of licks and then finish this one off. 49 light armor. That's nice. We're getting there. As usual, time to heal up and do a bit more housekeeping. That one should have been a greater soul, which I think we still had empties of. Yep, 2 more. Ebony Greatsword is worth taking. Let's look in on weapon charge. Ready to use a common, so good, we'll do that. And now we're ready to press on. One more rank of light armor and I'll be ready for something else. Alright, now let's thankfully we can see, so I don't need to whirlwind sprint to all of them. Nothing good on any of those platforms, so we can press forward. There's a shock rune. Just be aware. We'll want to heal up too, of course, always. Searchable Draugr here. Scaled Helmet is worthwhile. Burial Urn is too. And another shock rune. Or lightning rune if you prefer. There's 75 restoration. Good that that one is still creeping up. And I think now we're ready. Snake, whale, whale, eagle. Oh, but we get ceiling symbols again too, and that's because we have this fun aspect. That one only spins itself. Then, thankfully, alright, we all lined up? Yes, good. Now we're ready. I think now is when Tolfdir will catch up to us. I thought so anyway. I guess I could be wrong. We'll keep going. There he is.
I thought it high time I caught up with you. What could this place be? All right then. This is simply fascinating.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Tolfdir is an essential figure in the ending fight. We'll take that potion. Here is a book, which I think is new. Yes, it is, called Final Lesson. I'll take it off the list and read it. The Final Lesson by Agrotheus Goth. It is time for you to leave your apprenticeship here, said the great sage to his students, Taxim and Vongeldak. So soon, cried Vongeldak, for it had been but a few years since the training began. Are we such poor pupils? We have learned much for you, master, but you have no more to teach us, Taxim asked. You have told us so many tales of great enchanters of the past. Can't we continue to learn until we have reached some level of their power? I have one last story for you, smiled the great sage. Many thousands of years ago, long before the Cyrodiilic dynasty of Riemann, and even longer before the Septim dynasty ruled Tamriel, and before there was a mages guild, and the land called Morrowind was known as Restain, and the land of Elsewhere was called Enequina and Palatine, and the only law of the land was the cruel ways of the Elysian doctrines of Maruk, there lived a hermetic enchanter named Dalek, who had 2 apprentices, Uthrak and Loreth. Uthrak and Lorith were remarkable students, both equally assiduous in their learning, the pride of their master. Both excelled at the arts of the cauldron, mirror castings, the infusion of spiritus into mundus, and the weaving of air and fire. Dalek was very fond of his boys, and they of him. On a springtide morn, Dalek received a message from another enchanter named Peophil, who lived deep in the forests of the Colovian heartland. You must remember that in the dark days of the First Era, mages were solitary practitioners, with the only organized consortium being the Psijics of Artaeum. Away from that island, mages seldom saw one another and even more rarely corresponded. Thus, when Dalek received Peophil's letter, he gave it his great attention. Peophil was greatly aged, and he had found the peace of his isolation threatened by the Elysian reform. He feared for his life, knowing that the fanatical priests and their warriors were close at hand. Dalek brought his students to him. It will be an arduous and perilous journey to the Colovian estates, one that I would fear partaking even in my youth, Dalek said. My heart trembles to send you two forth to Peophil's cave, but I know that he is a great and benevolent enchanter, and his light must continue to burn in the heart of the continent if we are to survive these dark nights. Uthrak and Lorith pled with their teacher not to order them to go to Peophil. It was not the priests and warriors of the Elysian reform they feared, but they knew their master was aged and infirm, and could not protect himself if the reform moved further westward. Finally he relented and allowed that one would stay with him and the other would journey forth to the Colovian estates. He would let them decide which of them would go. The lads debated and discussed, fought and compromised, and at last elected to let fate make the choice. They threw lots, and Lorith came up short. He left early the next morning, miserable and filled with fear. For a month and a day he tramped through the forests into the midst of the Colovian estates. Through some planning, some skill, and much assistance from sympathetic peasants, he managed to avoid the ever-tightening circle of the Elysian reform by crossing through unclaimed mountain passes and hidden bogs. When at last he found the dark caverns where Dalek had told him to search for Peophil, it was still many hours before he could find the enchanter's lair. No one appeared to be there. Lorith searched through the laboratory of ancient tomes, cauldrons, and crystalline flutes, herbs kept alive by the glow of mystic circles, strange liquids and gases caught in transparent membranes. At last he found Peophil, or so he presumed. The desiccated shell on the floor of the study, clutching tools of enchantment, scarcely seemed human. Lorith decided that he could do nothing further for the mage, and began at once the journey back to his true master Dalek and his friend Uthrak. The armies of the Reform had moved quickly since he passed. After more than one close near encounter, the young enchanter realized that he was trapped on all sides. The only retreat that was possible was back in the caves of Peophil. The first thing to be done, Lorith saw, was to find a means to keep the army from finding the laboratory. That, he found, was what Peophil himself had been trying to do, but by a simple error even an apprentice enchanter could recognize, he had only succeeded in destroying himself. Lorith was able to take what he had learned from Dalek and apply it to Peophil's enchantments quite successfully. The laboratory was never found or even detected by the Reform. Much time passed. In the 480th year of the First Era, the great Aiden Dyreni won many battles against the Elysian horde, and many passages and routes that had once been closed were now open. Lorith, now no longer young, was able to return to Dalek. When at last he found his way to his master's old hovel, he saw candles of morning lit in all the trees surrounding. Even before he knocked on the door and met his old fellow student Uthrak, Lorith knew that Dalek had died. It was only a few months ago, said Uthrak, after embracing his friend. He talked of you every day of every year you were away. Somehow he knew that you had not preceded him to the world beyond. He told me that you would come back. The gray-haired men sat before the fire and reminisced of the old days. The sad truth was that they both discovered how different they had become. Uthrak spoke of carrying on the master's work, while Lorith described his new discoveries. They left one another that day, each shaking his head, destined to never see one another again. In the years ahead, before they left the mortal world to join their great teacher Dalek, they both achieved their desires. Uthrak went on to become a respected if minor enchanter in the service of Clan Dyreni. Lorith took the skills he had learned on his own and used them to fashion the Balak Thurm, the Staff of Chaos. My boys, the lesson is you have to learn from a teacher to avoid those small but essential errors that claimed the life of such self-taught enchanters as Peophil, and yet the only way to become truly great is to try all the possibilities on your own. So there you go. Let's head over here. Don't miss the searchable Draugr, of course. Dwarven helmet is worth taking. Another searchable Draugr. I think Tolfdir is going to trigger that pressure plate, but that's alright. Won't hurt him. Blisterwort. Dead Draugr. Steel Shield is worthwhile. An empty Lesser Soul Gem. And I think it's time. Yes, here it is. Jirik Galderson, the second of the 3 Forbidden Legend bosses.
Well now, would you look at that? I never imagined we'd find something like this. Why is this buried so far within Saarthal?
Shit gets real in a hurry. Jirik is tough to kill.
Seems to work. Keep it busy. I'll try to drain some of its power.
So Tolfdir correctly recognizes that it's drawing power from that big thing. And he goes over here and messes with it.
There, now attack it.
So Tolfdir gets the barrier down, and suddenly we're able to hurt him. Oh, he's low level. I want to let him wail on me. Just because I'd love to finish the dungeon on the note of having hit 50 light armor. We're not quite going to do it. Alright, so with that little chime, the death of Jirik Galderson tells us that Saarthal is cleared, so we can take it off the clearable locations list. I'll do my housekeeping. Heal up first. Don't bother me yet. I want to do all my housekeeping. I need to figure out what kind of soul he was. He might have been greater even though he was obviously lower level than standard. Looks like he was. That's pretty awesome. Alright. Nope, looks like he was lesser. Okay, that's fine. Let's recharge with that same lesser soul gem we just filled. Then I'll let Tolfdir talk to me. Oh, okay, we can search Jirik. We've got the second Galder Amulet Fragment, increases your magicka by 30 points. And we have a second Writ of Sealing, which I'll read and then remove from my book list. Be bound here, Jirik, murderer, betrayer, condemned by your crimes against realm and lord. May your name and your deeds be forgotten forever, and the charm which you bear be sealed by our ward. That's 2 out of 3. The only one we're missing is the one the book actually directs us to at Folgenthur, which we'll get to much later. And now we can loot around down here. We'll start on this end, and we'll do Jirik's table, which doesn't have a whole lot, but does have, looks like another filled Grand Soul Gem, as well as the unique Staff of Jirik Galderson. Oh fuck, the sound is crackling again. We went this far without it happening at all. So I kinda, maybe stupidly, thought I had it fixed. Anyway, the way forward is behind this thing, so let's just search the urns on either side. And now I'll let Tolfdir bother me.
Be prepared to defend yourself.
What is this thing?
I have no idea. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing. The Archmage needs to be informed immediately. He needs to see this for himself. I don't dare leave this unattended. Can you return to the college and inform Savo-Sauron of this discovery? Please, hurry.
Completed. Find the danger within Saarthal. Talk to the Archmage. During an expedition to Saarthal, I uncovered a new section of the ruins and was warned by a vision from someone in the Psijic Order of danger within. Despite this, Tolfdir and I have explored further and found a strange orb buried deep within Saarthal. Tolfdir has asked that I take news of the discovery to the Archmage. We'll do that eventually, but
What could this place be?
what should I tell the Archmage?
Let him know that we've unearthed something, well, I'm not sure. Something unique, let's say. It's clearly magical in nature, but like nothing I've ever seen before. You should be most interested.
Will you be all right by yourself?
Oh, I think I'll be fine. We seem to have eliminated the most pressing threat. It certainly seems that whoever placed this here intended for it to be well guarded. I wonder why. Until next time.
All right. Forward then. Now we won't go complete that quest for a little bit. We're going to do some exploring instead. We are going to get an extremely useful dragon shout in here. It's basically free paralysis. Ice form. Word of power learned. Ice form. Tell you what the wall says in a second. Your Thuum freezes an opponent solid. That's epic. And see, at this stage of the game, I think it's even better than Marked for Death. Of course, oh yes, I need to take that first word off of my shout list. There we go. It's the first of 3. And steel shield, yes, 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 yes. Now, just trying to pull up the translation of the word wall, and it's taking a minute. I'll go ahead and move and tell you what it says when it pops up. In the meantime, here we are back in the Saarthal excavation zone. I hit that handle. Should be pretty obvious. This is familiar territory. Now, I think everybody, our fellow apprentices in Arniel, are scripted to still be sitting in here. There we go. Finally getting the word wall translation up. Should be sneaking. Okay, that first word wall translates, "Here lies the body of Iglif Iceblood, who met his end not in glorious combat, but at the cruel touch of the withering sickness." Oh, there you go, that's a little depressing, but what can you do? Let's go through here, chat with folks. If I remember right, they all still say mostly the same thing. As if our big adventure just now didn't even happen.
Keep your head. Jazargo finds nothing but dust in these ruins.
Yep. Alright, so let's just head out. Then we're going to offload and start up another exploration loop. A lot of the filler area in that exploration loop has already been covered. So we'll just be hitting actual locations. which I find simpler and highly preferable. I don't know about you. And that's it for Saarthal. I wonder if Forbidden Legend has changed. Yes. In Saarthal, I found a cryptic message on the body of a powerful Draugr condemning him for his ancient crimes. What was his story? Why was he entombed with a broken amulet? Alright, there we go. Let's get out of here. Got a little under 15 minutes left, which is plenty of time for an offload. Maybe even a bit more. Garden has not respawned. I don't recall finding anything. Is Hearthfire useful in the, whatever.
Wanna play a game?
Sure.
What do you want to play?
Hide and
Okay,
seek.
you stand right there and count to 10. No peeking.
Alright, let's drop ingredients.
Go!
Let's drop the Saarthal amulet. Oh, we won't be able to yet. It's still a quest item. We can drop the enchanted rings. And we can drop... Of course, I only need to hold on to one of those enchanted rings, so I'll sell the other two. The Staff of Jirik Galderson can go in here as well. And what few smithing supplies there are will go downstairs.
Flowing nicely. Yes.
Let's see if we can get some speech experience. There we go. 98 speech. 2 ranks to go.
I'll be here.
And that got us to level 58, which is a health level, where I want to take Armsman 3 out of the one-handed tree. One-handed weapons do 60% more damage. There we go. Pretty straightforward.
You need me,
We've got 10 minutes left. That's good. It means we'll actually be able to do a little bit of stuff. Let's smelt and drop off the smithing supplies. I am like drowning in soul gems. It's all good though, because we're using them, and they're literally good for nothing else at this point. Have all the enchantments I could ever want. So, next thing we want to do is make a quick stop at Shrine of Talos we've already seen, but now, thanks to our choices in the midden, we'll be able to get Velek Sane's treasure from inside there. Everything's good. Quickest way is just to head back to Saarthal, right where we were. And from where we spawn in, we pretty much want to head due north. Past Saarthal on the right, all the way up until the path turns to dirt. And we've already seen all this. It's a flyby, because he saw us and did not attack. Right up to this fork, which I guess I didn't explicitly explore if there's still grass pods here. We'll want to turn right, head back down to the coast. Oh, there's the glacier cracking, and my sound crackled out again. Anyway, that's the Shrine of Talos I'm looking for. Looks like everything is still dead. Be grateful for that as we move along. And just, walk up here. And you'll see the chest spawn in. It's a proximity trigger as soon as we get close enough, assuming that we've read Velek's map. Oh, well, we didn't see the spawn, but this is it. Oh, there it is. Good. It was just delayed. That goblet is worth it, as is the statue, and that goblet, and the reverent imperial sword, and the coin purse, and the gold ingots, and the coin purse, and the amulet of Talos, and the gems, and that ring, and those 2 rings, and that bowl, and this chest, not the steel-cuffed boots. And here's Velek Sane's locker, which only has a little gold in it, but considering what we got from outside the chest, I'm still pretty happy. From here, we're ready to explore another island. We already went most of the way there. That's Ysgramor's tomb. I'm pretty sure we can't even go inside until we're on the relevant companions quest, but what we can do is get it on the map and explore the island it's on. A snow bear. know I did still have several empty common soul gems to fill, so I'm not worried about that. I'm a little surprised that because I know I already mined that ore vein. I'm not sure why it's showing up as a respawn, but I need to start tracking my numbers here, though. How many common soul gems do I have left? I have 1 grand, 2 greater, and now 7 commons. Anyway, the simplest thing to do with this is just bounce right up to it. We'll get Ysgrimor's tomb on the map. We won't explore it for a while yet. We can go ahead and take it off the discoverable locations list, which is always good. I have about 2 minutes left. That is enough time to do some productive stuff, believe it or not. I'm gonna kill these 2 horkers. $47 two-handed. Those tusks are worth selling, so I will take them. Housekeeping time, but let's do this iron vein first. So I'll need to empty the 2 common soul gems that took in those 2 petties. I need to check my charge. I think we're probably ready to burn another common. Yes, good. Alrighty. I see a cave bear over here. We're gonna go deal with him. I guess I should point out that the proper path down to that ore vein from Ysgrimor's tomb is right there. Good, this will fill another common. I want to let him chew on me. I'd love to end this video with 50 light armor. In fact, I'm just going to shoot for that. There it is. 50 light armor. And that's going to wind up being perfect. Let's finish him off. I now need 6. I have 6 more common soul gems. That doesn't need a charge yet. But with 50 light armor, we've hit the next benchmark I was worried about. For level 66, I just need one-handed at 50, which I have. For level 67, I need sneak at 50, which I have. For level 68, I need alteration at 50, which I do not have. So, quickest way to raise alteration actually involves a bit of grinding. So I tell you what we're going to do then. College of Winterhold is a fairly easy place to do this. Well, no, I don't need to leave. What am I doing? I don't need to leave. That's just silly of me. I'll load up the autosave. So I'd like to finish up with the island I'm on, and then worry about other stuff, if that makes any sense. So, what I'll do instead, I need to switch to my DA jewelry. I need to drop something. This Reverent Imperial Sword will do nicely. I just need to roll telekinesis. 41. Something didn't work right just then. $42. 43. 44. 45. See how fast this is. This is a little grindy, but it's so quick I don't care. 46. 47. 48. 49. 50. Now, we're good through level 68. Level 69, I need Destruction at 60. Now my best spells are Lightning Rune. The DA jewelry still works. Let's swim over to... My headset just cut out again. Anyway, I was going to say, I know I'm running just a little over. There are only 2 more ore veins on this particular island. There's an iron vein right here. I want to keep ice form. So I need to get Destruction to 60. And then as we go over here, we find yet another Shrine of Talos. They're everywhere out here. I'll nick this Nirn root. Get lightning runes in both hands. We find several dead skeevers, along with the body of Ilas Tai, another of the missing apprentices. We'll take all these ingredients and Ilas Tai's ring, which is another unique item I can now take off my list. That's 3 of the 4 missing apprentices, only 1 left to find. Now, dead skeever here, Scroll of Fury, Scroll of Calm, There's a copy of Breathing Water here, the Alteration Skill Book, another Scroll of Calm, Apothecary's Satchel, a few other bits I don't care about. And just because it will signal the end of this particular island, I'm going to go nick this corundum vein, and we will then end this video. Alright everybody, this has been Let's Play Skyrim. We have successfully cleared out Saarthal and gotten back to our favorite, exploring. Next time we'll keep exploring. Our next target is Septimus Cygnus's outpost, way at the very, very northern tip of the explorable map. Until then, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider clicking on an ad, liking, sharing, subscribing. These things really help me out. Even if you do not, please know that I really appreciate the time you spend watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.